Alright.
Yeah,
Figured it out.
these screens here.
Okay, it's Monday, August 11th, it is 4:01, I will call this meeting to order. I'll do roll call of planning commission members and then county commissioners. Joey Edwards.
Here.
Steve Stevens. Jason Rufo,
Here.
David Urich.
Here.
Ryan Hill. Heather Lind here. Commissioner Tharp,
Here,
Commissioner Lee,
he's coming.
He's coming,
Okay.
he's trying to boot up his computer.
and Commissioner Bullock is here.
Here.
Changes or additions to the agenda? Okay. We have minutes to approve from July 28th. Everybody have a chance to review those?
I did. Edwards moves to approve the minutes from the July 28th meeting. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Updates from staff?
Thank you. I think the only thing that we're really gonna share out this evening are, interviews are going really well for Planner One. So Melissa and I conducted our third, interview this morning, and we've got some great prospects. So excited to be sharing that we'll be growing the planning department here shortly. I think that's the one thing I can think that really, is new since last we spoke.
Awesome. Great. I'm gonna move us right on down to new business. We have file 25-03, which is 450 County Road 24A, the Box Creek gravel mining CUP, and a continuation request.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let you know that staff is working with CDOT, county's traffic consultants, which are Kimley Horn, and the applicant to address results of the safety analysis at the intersection of County Road 10 and 24. So we're recommending a motion to continue this file to September 8th at 4 p.m. so we can get some additional work done.
Any questions?
I have a question, somewhat related to safety. I don't recall from the original report that we saw whether or not there was information on traffic patterns within the county and how the permit would impact traffic. Is that part of the analysis?
So what I would recommend is that outside of this public hearing, since we've not opened this up as a public hearing to discuss this application, we are just purely continuing it at this time. That if you have questions for staff, that you ask the questions outside of this meeting, but you can absolutely ask staff that, and they can make sure that if there's additional information that we want presented for the next meeting on September 8th, they would have it available.
Okay.
Just because if we haven't opened it up for anybody to hear or be a part of, we can't have a conversation. Do I have a motion to continue to September 8th at 4 p.m.?
Edwards moves to continue file number 25-03, 450 County Road 24A, the Box Creek gravel mining CUP to our September 8th planning and zoning meeting. I second.
Any discussion?
Excuse me, I believe the file is 2403, so I think the record should reflect the accurate file name. Is that correct, Melissa?
Read my records.
It's
You're right,
on
the
my,
staff report,
Shows
thank you, Katie.
2403.
It is 2403.
okay, sorry, our agenda was.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will remake that motion.
Amend, yeah.
Amend that motion. Edwards moves that file 24-03, 450 County Road 24A, the Box Creek gravel mining CUP be continued to September 8th. I second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay,
Thank you, Katie.
all right, we
Thanks.
will move down to file 25-23, which is the 138 Lang Street accessory dwelling unit CUP. I'm gonna start with opening statement here. The Lake County Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners will now conduct a joint public hearing. This statement I'm reading shall be incorporated into and made part of the record on these proceedings. The Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners have jurisdiction to conduct a joint public hearing on a conditional use permit application under section 3.6.1 of the Lake County Land Development Code. The purpose of this hearing is to consider whether the conditional use permit application should be approved. In considering that matter, the commission will address the approval criteria set forth in section 3.6.1.f of the Lake County Land Development Code. The procedure to be followed in this hearing will be: 1, members of the commission and the board will disclose if they've had any ex parte communications. 2, county staff will make their initial presentation. 3, the applicant may then make their presentation. 4, after that, any persons either supporting or opposing the application may present their evidence. 5, supporting and opposing witnesses may be questioned by the commission and the board. Once questioning is concluded, no further questioning is permitted unless granted by the chair. 6, the applicant may then present any rebuttal evidence. The parties and witnesses are asked not to submit redundant, irrelevant, or cumulative evidence. If someone has already made the point that you wish to make, please simply say so. The chair will also require that all comments be made to the planning commission and the board, and that there be no dialogue between the applicant and members of the audience. At the conclusion of the evidentiary portion of the hearing, the chair will entertain a motion to close the evidentiary portion of the hearing, and the commission will discuss and weigh the evidence. Then there will be a motion to close the discussion phase of the joint public hearing. The Board of County Commissioners will then retire from the meeting, and the chair of the planning commission will entertain a motion on the application. The motion may take the form of one of the following recommendations: 1, approve the application with no conditions. 2, approve the application with recommended conditions. 3, approve the application with newly identified conditions. Or 4, deny the application. The planning director shall make a record of any substantial discussion on the motion and include that in the record with the recommendation of the commission. The commission's recommendation will be in the form of a statement of motion. Are there any objections to the jurisdiction of the commission or to the form or substance of these proceedings? Hearing none, I will now ask each planning commission member and then each county commissioner if you've had any ex parte communications to disclose, and if so, please disclose those now. Joey Edwards,
None.
Jason Marufo,
None.
David Gerich,
None?
Heather Lind, none, Commissioner Tharp,
None.
Commissioner Lee,
None.
and Commissioner Blow.
None.
Great. Staff may begin.
Alright, thank you. As you pointed out, this is a conditional use permit at 138 Lang in Twin Lakes Village. So it's at the corner of 26 and Lang, more or less. It kind of has 2 addresses, as I pointed out in the staff report. It's 0.24 acres, it's zone business, and the ADU is the property that's on 26. The primary structure is off of Lang. So, as you know, the ADU is 2 bedrooms. And any ADU that's under an acre requires a CUP, which is why we're in this process. Next screen, please. So again, you can see the house is where the primary structure is. It's called the Stargazer Chalet. And then again, the house is off of 26, so you can kind of see that a little better. This is taken off of a lot consolidation plat that was done a few years ago, and it was done in order to consolidate the septic system. There's one septic system that serves both of these properties. So next, yeah, and so I'll talk a little bit more about that in the approval criteria. Again, we believe that the application does meet the approval criteria in terms of the comprehensive plan. Housing is, and rental housing in particular, is important in the county, and that helps provide economic development as people can live and work and spend their money in Twin Lakes. The OWTS is the piece of this that maybe has a little complexity, but the permit itself is very clear, and it says what you see on the screen. And in particular, the 1 bedroom up to 2 people is what's allowed through the septic permit, and that is one of the conditions of approval. Our zoning enforcer is gonna go out and look at the property. That hasn't happened to date, but as we understand it, there's 2 rooms in there. But the point of the permit is that only 2 people can be occupying that structure. So in addition, there's a well permit, which verifies that water is available to serve the site. What this CUP does is really bring the ADU into compliance with the zoning for this property. Sometimes when we do the CUP before it's constructed, and sometimes we have to retrofit, which is what we're doing. So, and all other standards have been met for this. So with that, we're recommending 5 conditions of approval. As you read on the inspection report, the lid on the septic tank needs to be fastened down. Our fire marshal looked at it, and the next 3 conditions are from him in terms of addressing smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. So those are fairly standard but very important. And then finally, as I pointed out, the ADU is limited to 1 bedroom up to 2 people. And the most important thing is that it's 2 people that can be served by the septic. So with that, I think that really concludes my presentation. And I believe Shalom Kaiser is with us, though I didn't see his name on the screen. Yeah, he is. So he is the applicant for this, and probably he is available for any questions that you might have for him.
Shalom, did you have anything you'd like to add to and or present for us this evening?
I think anything I have to add would be redundant to the application, so I can't think of anything additional to add.
Great, we'll just reach out if we have some questions.
Okay, great.
I don't have the clipboard.
So everything's already existing the way I see
It
it,
is.
right, and understand it, okay. That's-
That would be the simple
that's-
summary,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, so this is more of a paperwork type.
Yeah, this is like cleaning up on
Okay.
a non-conforming situation.
That's what I thought, I just wanted to
That was okay.
Yeah.
make sure.
Yeah, we can, if there's any questions we wanna ask before public comment, yes.
My only question, the septic system for this system was it has been addressed.
It has.
So I have some folks on here that indicated a yes or a question mark. I'm just gonna read through, you maybe here for this application or the next, but Warren Flint for this one.
He stepped outside.
Oh, he's up, okay. Ron Pierce. Charles Beck.
No.
Kevin Armstrong.
No.
Melissa Decker. No. Okay. Anybody on Zoom, or in the room that I did not call your name that has any public comment for this file? Okay. Any questions for staff or the applicant at this time before we close public hearing?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, I think the subject was I know that was the thing that you guys were trying to work through, and it seems like that's been done. I think it's a property that should remain the way it's being used, so seems like a good way to clean it up.
Yeah, rental's interesting down there, but they're actually doing really well, so that's great. It'd be nice to have another unit down there.
With that, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing for this file.
I move to close the public hearing for the file, 2523.
Edward seconds.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Commissioners, you are free to go to dinner.
Thank
Or,
you.
the million meetings you maybe have this evening.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, everyone.
We hope it's dinner.
Okay. Any discussion before we hear a motion on the application? Okay. Somebody wanna make the motion?
Edwards moves that the planning commission recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners of file number 25-23. Conditional use permit application for an accessory dwelling unit on a parcel of land less than 1 acre at 138 Lang Street, Twin Lakes, Colorado 80251. Pursuant to the standards of section 5.3.1B. The planning commission further finds that the approval criteria pursuant to section 3.6.1F have been met as evidenced in the staff report dated August 11th, 2025. For file number 25-23, with these conditions of approval. Number 1, the lid on the septic tank must be fastened securely. Number 2, the address should be visible from from the adjacent road. All smoke detectors installed should be a relay system, meaning if one goes off, all goes off. Carbon monoxide detectors shall be installed per Colorado legislation. And number 5, the ADU is limited to 1 bedroom and no more than 2 people.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Yeah, just asked who that second was, I couldn't tell if it was David, okay.
I am gonna move down to, but I guess I have a real quick logistical question. Can I just do our site plan review opening statement for both applications, or do we need to do them separately? I guess if we're gonna vote on it, we close it and then open it. Okay, so you're just gonna hear me say the same thing a couple more times. Okay. File 25-21 is 11700 State Highway 82 for the Scenic Conservation Overlay Site Plan Review. And is this the same one for the regular site plan?
Yeah.
Okay. Lake County Planning Commission will now conduct a joint public hearing, or not a joint, sorry, just a public hearing. The statement I am reading shall be incorporated into and made part of the record on these proceedings. The Planning Commission has jurisdiction to conduct a public hearing on a site plan review under section 3.15 of the Lake County Land Development Code. The purpose of this hearing is to consider whether the proposed amendment should be approved. In considering that matter, the Commission will address the approval criteria set forth in section 3.15.3E of the Lake County Land Development Code. The procedure to be followed in this hearing will be: 1, members of the commission will disclose if they've had any ex parte communications. 2, county staff will make initial presentation. 3, applicant may then make their presentation. 4, after that, any other persons either supporting or opposing the application may present evidence. 5, supporting and opposing witnesses may be questioned by the commission. Once questioning is concluded, no further questioning is permitted unless granted by the chair. 6, the applicant may then present any rebuttal evidence. The parties and witnesses are asked to not submit redundant, irrelevant, or cumulative evidence. If someone has already made the point you wish to make, please simply say so. The chair will also require that all comments be made to the planning commission and there be no dialogue between the applicant and members of the audience. At the conclusion of the evidentiary portion of the hearing, the chair will entertain a motion to close the evidentiary portion of the hearing, and the commission will discuss and weigh the evidence. Then there will be a motion to close the discussion phase of the joint public hearing. The chair of the planning commission will entertain a motion on the application. The motion may take form of one of the following: 1, approve the application with no conditions. 2, approve the application with recommended conditions. 3, approve the application with newly identified conditions. Or 4, deny the application. Planning director shall make record of any substantial discussion on the motion and include that in the record with the decision of the commission. Are there any objections to the jurisdiction of the commission or to the form or substance of these proceedings? Hearing none, I will now ask that each planning commission member, if you've had any ex parte communications to disclose, and if so, please disclose them now. Joey Edwards.
None.
Jason Marufo.
None.
David Jurich.
None.
Heather Lynn, none. Steph.
I found if it doesn't drive with what you read.
Yeah,
So let's just make sure we clarify that before.
Let's get all these file numbers correct.
Yeah.
My file number reads 25-26.
that's
Okay,
correct.
cause 25 and
That's
21
it,
we already
okay.
did that, right?
No, 25-23 was what I thought I read, and that's what's on my staff report.
So just an addendum to 25-26.
So I'm correct, that is.
Yeah, you're right. 25-21 should be the right one.
25-21.
But, that's the one I read, but you're right, that on here it says 25-26.
Yeah, I really messed up the agenda, didn't I? Not too
Just wanna make sure I'm on the right
surprised,
one.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Um,
So,
Yeah,
just to clarify,
This
this
is-
all is for file 25-26, which is 12271 State Highway 82, Leadville, Twin Lakes.
yes.
And the actual, the
That's
correct file number
correct.
is
25, 26.
25-26.
It's not this address then.
Wow.
Right, cause that's
One
20.
two two seven one.
This is correct.
Okay.
Yep. So file name, number is wrong and the
So what we read
address.
off the agenda is incorrect, but what I'm reading right now, this file that my opening statement just went for is file 25-26 for an address of 12271 Highway 82, Leadville or Twin Lakes, Colorado.
That's correct.
Agreed.
apologize for that. Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
With that, do you want
Other
this
than
back
that-
so you can read from that? I have it open.
Yeah, cause I was looking at it going, wait a second, can you do that?
okay. Well, so we know where we are, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have this correct still. Yeah. Okay, so we're still at 12,271 State Highway 82. And as you can see, and you can see why this might be confusing. We had one last time that was 11,700, so they are really similar. And
Yeah, it was, I almost thought it was the same one again.
Yeah.
So it is,
which
yeah,
it is not,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, so this property is located very close to the other property, but it is separate. And the application is part of the Twin Lakes Canyon Estates. And they're really requesting an accessory building to build a personal shop, so we can go forward. You can see it's this triangular shaped structure, the home is existing, and they're wanting to build a shop for their personal use. And because it's in the scenic conservation overlay, that's why we're here tonight. So you can see the two images, the drawing really describes what the shop will look like. And the materials are a picture of what the wood is gonna, it'll be very similar to that. So the materials are compatible with the mountain environment in terms of the wood siding and the stone base, in our opinion, which is an important part of the design criteria for this application. And the building is cited to really minimize site disturbance, which is the other thing that we're really looking for in the scenic conservation overlay. So again, the approval criteria are looking at the comprehensive plan. This is designated as developed residential. And so that's an important part of and why it complies with our comprehensive plan. The site plan does conform with the code in terms of the requirements that we've talked about in primarily the scenic conservation overlay. All the submittal requirements have been met. We believe that this accessory structure is in harmony with both the primary home on the property as well as that neighborhood and how that neighborhood is developing out. So I talked a bit about how this application meets the design criteria, so we do believe it's in substantial compliance. So with that, we're recommending approval with no conditions. Betty and Ron Pierce are here, who are the applicants, and I'm sure they could answer any questions that you might have for them.
It looks like from the plot, the house is set in the back corner of that triangle. Where will the shop be adjacent to the house?
The shop will be pretty much in the middle of the,
Kind of in the middle of the lot, so in
Yeah.
front of the house?
there's an aspen grove
Mhm, right in the
behind
middle?
us, and it kind of juts into that middle section right there.
Okay.
And so, the size is gonna be 16 feet by 24 feet.
Mhm.
And I just need a place to put stuff that's in my garage right now.
There really won't be any visibility to it then from the highway.
No, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of trees between the highway
Right.
and it's not gonna it's only gonna occupy the upper portion of that middle section.
Right, okay, thank you.
And Mr. Pierce, did you have anything additional that you wanted to add that staff did not perhaps convey that you would like to?
No, not really, there is no, there won't be any water, like no plumbing. Obviously electrical. And that's it.
Okay.
It's pretty basic,
Just a shop.
yeah.
And the siding that you're referencing is, I'm assuming, what's on the house currently.
Yes,
Okay.
it's that board and batten siding,
Okay.
and I have my own sawmill, so I make all of my own siding.
Alright.
Any other questions? Okay, motion to close the public hearing?
I move to close the public hearing portion of this.
Edward seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Anybody wanna make a
hold on,
motion?
let me make it bigger.
There you go.
I move that the Lake County Planning Commission approve file 25-26 at 12271 State Highway 82 site plan review, finding that the proposed site is in substantial conformance with the express purposes, intents, goals, and policies of the Lake County Comprehensive Plan, and any ancillary county acknowledged or adopted documents pertaining to natural resource protection, affordable housing, infrastructure management, or any area-specific community plans. 2, the proposed site conforms to the requirements and provisions of this code. 3, the proposed site plan adequately addresses the submittal requirement items. 4, the proposed site plan is consistent with and in harmony with neighboring land uses and future intended land uses in the area. 5, the proposed site plan is substantially in compliance with the requirements and provisions of section 6.15 design criteria. And further find that the standards within sections 5.2.20 and 4.3.3C have been adequately met.
Edward seconds.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Keeping it easy.
I know, I'm glad I read the first one.
Alright.
This was 25-0.
Yeah, that was right, okay. Next file we have on the agenda is file 25-01, which is 1730 Harrison Avenue, the Excel Energy Site Plan Review.
Yeah, we're finished with you.
I'm gonna read this really fun
Thank you, guys.
document again, enjoy reading them. The Lake County Planning Commission will now conduct a will now just conduct a public hearing. This statement I am reading shall be incorporated into and made part of the record on these proceedings. The Planning Commission has jurisdiction to conduct a public hearing on a site plan review under section 3.15 of the Lake County Land Development Code, and the purpose of this hearing is to consider whether the proposed amendment should be approved. In considering the matter, the Commission will address the approval criteria set forth in section 3.15.3E of the Lake County Land Development Code. The procedure to be followed in this hearing will be: 1, members of the commission will disclose any ex parte communications. 2, the county staff will make initial presentation. 3, the applicant may make their presentation. 4, after that, any other persons either supporting or opposing the application may present evidence. 5, supporting and opposing witnesses may be questioned by the commission. 6, the applicant may present any rebuttal evidence. At the conclusion of the evidentiary portion of the hearing, the chair will entertain a motion to close the evidentiary portion of the hearing, and the commission will discuss and weigh the evidence. Then there will be a motion to close the discussion phase of the joint public hearing. The chair of the planning commission will entertain a motion on the application, and the motion may take the form of one of the following recommendations. 1, approve the application with no conditions. 2, approve the application with recommended conditions. 3, approve the application with newly identified conditions. Or 4, deny the application. The planning director will make any record of any substantial discussion on the motion and include that in the record with the decision of the commission. Are there any objections to the jurisdiction of the commission or to the form or substance of these proceedings? Hearing none, I will now ask each planning commission member if you've had any ex parte communications to disclose, and if so, to please do that now. Joey Edwards,
None?
Jason Rufo,
None.
David Church,
None.
Heather Lynn, none.
Alright,
It's all you.
number 4.
Number 4.
So this is an application. The site should be familiar to everybody, but it's on Mountain View Drive and Harrison Avenue. So it's an existing facility at 1730 Harrison. It's 4.5 acres and it's the existing service center for Excel. The current zoning for the property is business, so it's in compliance with the existing zoning, there's no change. We go to the next. This is the site plan, that you received, it's a multiple page document, but this is, I think, a good image that shows what's happening by moving the service center, which is on the north side, to the south side. So it'll be the applicant's here to address this in more detail, but it'll be a complex process of moving that, constructing it and moving and operating at the same time. But essentially in the end, what will happen is on the south end, there will be the new service center, which is a little over 10,000 square feet in size. And the primary entrance stays, sorry Ann, we go back, the primary entrance stays the same off of Harrison Avenue. There are improvements that will be made, substantial improvements made to that entrance, the parking area and the landscaping around the site along with fencing. So we'll talk a little bit about some of those things as we go forward. Alright, so sidewalk improvements are one of the things we spent a fair amount of time talking about. On the left, the pictures are off of Mountain View Drive. And in fact, the pedestrian walkway, as Public Works wants it, it will remain on Mountain View Drive. It's striped out, we've all driven by it a bunch of times. So what they're essentially doing is coming off of Harrison and connecting through an ADA ramp to that existing pedestrian lane. And then on the other side, on the east side, is where the sidewalk ends and they will be required to connect into that. So, we've kind of worked out those details over the course of the review. And then the line drawing I put up here, you can't really see it, but that's where Harrison and 17th come together. And there will be a continuous sidewalk on Harrison Avenue to that corner. We didn't ask for a sidewalk on 17th Street, but what we know over time is we believe this area is really gonna build out to be much more pedestrian oriented than it has been historically. They have a right to be in this location and we don't have a better place for them to be at this point, so they've been good to work with in terms of making sure our sidewalks in particular are gonna be continuous. You can go forward. The second thing is the perimeter fence is really, and it's a 10-foot masonry wall essentially, and they can go into more detail, that is gonna surround the majority of really the storage areas and a lot of the working areas of this site. So that's really above and beyond even what we hoped for. So that's a really important feature to protecting and sort of screening the uses of this site. So I think from there we can go to the building design, which we believe is in keeping with sort of this mountain architecture, if you will, and the fact that standing seam metal siding is common and appropriate in this location, and the wainscoting with the CMU blocks is also appropriate and dresses this building up a little more than it has been historically. So it's a pretty substantial improvement in terms of building design, in our opinion. So the next one, the staff report goes into more details related to some of the lighting and the landscaping, but I figured you had an opportunity to read that. So I think they have met or exceeded our criteria. So we did send that out on referral. I wanted to mention the CDPH&E, it's in the staff report. We kind of worked through that with them. The CDPH&E doesn't have any outstanding concerns about this site, but we wanted them to look at it and give us that assurance. Excel went ahead and did some sampling so that they had something to look at and work with, and so I think everybody's comfortable with where we're at, but I wanted to point that out. And Parkville, they're working with Parkville Water and Leadville Sanitation District. And we'll work through, there's a lot of details, as you can imagine, to building this large at this location. So that'll be part of the utility plans, and we got comments from them. So with that, the approval criteria, we believe have been met. They are in substantial conformance with our comprehensive plan. Really, this is an important existing facility and utility in our community. And so keeping it operational, really allowing it to upgrade is important. Conforms with the requirements of the code. It's been through really a substantial review. Our contract engineers, we've been through 2 or 3 rounds of comment. So there are construction documents, not part of your review, but that are part of the building of the site. And so those have been reviewed and are very close to approval as well. They have addressed all the submittal requirements that we have asked for. We believe this is in harmony with the neighboring land uses. It's really an existing facility, and again, you know, if we had a better place for them to be located, it might be timely to move out of this area that we know is gonna, you know, become more pedestrian, but at the moment, this is their location. And so, again, they've done some upgrades at our request in terms of the sidewalk and the fencing. So, and then finally, they are substantially in compliance with design criteria, particularly the building design, which really is a big improvement over what has been there historically. So with that, there are some conditions, and it's really, the first one has several different easements primarily and some right-of-way that need to be established, dedicated as part of this process. So we'll do that through an administrative subdivision exemption plat, which is the easiest way to kind of get that done. They are, if you have questions, we can, you know, locate those for you. They are on the site plan. Same thing with having a development agreement, as part of the construction plans with this application. They will need to be in compliance, as all applications are, with Parkville Water, Leadville Sanitation District, as well as compliance with CDPH&E. Should something come up as part of the disposal of the soil that wasn't identified so far, they obviously have to comply with those standards. And then anything else that might come up this evening. So, go back.
Sorry.
I didn't delete that slide. Okay. So with that, the applicant is here and is available. They do have a bit of a presentation and can answer questions. Yeah.
Which one would you
It's
like to
the
start with?
2025-08075,
This one?
that one, correct.
Get it open and you can share. Did I just close it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so close.
You know, we used to have somebody else that did
It's
such
there.
a good
Yeah.
job at this, and, okay, I'm gonna minimize
back to
that,
Zoom.
and then. And we're gonna pull it up again, because it's right. Different. There we go. Now let me get it to. And.
I don't know that that's the one you're, I don't know that that's the one you're sharing.
No?
There it is, there, yeah.
And then. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm almost there, guys, hang in there. This used to be.
So if you close the tools panel on the left and the comment panel on the right, it'll
Just
at
the
least make it
X's,
bigger.
just the X's,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the
And
two
then this one
left.
on the left with all tools, yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
It takes a village around here, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
So I'm Kevin Armstrong with Barker Rinker Seacap Architecture. We're helping Excel on this project along with Charles Beck of Anderson Hastings.
I'm the civil engineer on the project.
And one point of clarification, that in the original submission, it talked about the new facility being 10,151 square feet. We're actually just north of 35,000 square feet on this. We're at 35,615, something right around there. The main floor level is about 24,000 square feet, and the upper level is just over 11,000 square feet.
What's the current structure at?
The current structure is small, it's closer to that
Maybe
10,000
10,000.
square foot
Okay.
level.
So this is more than double the size of the current
It
structure.
is.
And the current one doesn't have 2 stories?
No, the current
it's
one
just
is a
a little-
single story.
Okay.
And so part of this is to consolidate the current one. There used to previously be another site, another building on the site that had storage within it, but it's no longer there. So this is to consolidate some internal storage as well as some vehicle storage within the building, and then to have office functions within that facility as well. So office functions will be on the second floor level, more utilitarian functions will be on the first floor
Okay.
of it. And so, as Melissa said, it's designed to be congruent with the architecture in the area. If you could go to the next slide, please, Ian. This gives an overlay from looking from above at what it looks like. So, in this image over here on this side, this is what fronts Harrison over here, and then this is within the service yard area here in the back. The next slide shows the elevations of all sides of the building, and so it has that CMU concrete masonry unit wainscot around the entire perimeter of the building, and then has architectural metal panel up above it. From 10 feet up on the building and above will be that architectural metal panel. The top of the ridge of the roof is just below 35 feet tall, so it's designed to not dominate the area around it, to not be too tall. And additionally, the site is slightly sunken compared to the sites that are above that, to the north.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how much higher will it be than the existing?
And the existing, it'll be
20
up 15 to 20 feet higher than the existing.
Okay.
And then if you go one more slide, this kind of shows some examples of the materials that we're talking about. And so we have the architectural metal panel in the upper right, the CMU that'll be down low in the upper left, the precast site wall that's going around the perimeter, that's the opaque fencing that is being talked about. It'll be 10 feet tall, it's 10 feet tall, which is 2 feet higher than the design requirement, but that's really to meet security requirements for Excel for their site. And then we will have some louvered screening as well, to help with some of the mechanical equipment within the site itself. And that's still something we're working through on our end, but the goal is to be opaque around the perimeter of this site, except for at, access fencing location or gate locations. So that's what we have to show in terms of the building design of it. And then if we need to talk through kind of the site design, we could go back to the staff
Bring up
presentation.
your presentation
with the
that
site
shows
plan.
the new site again. I
Uh-huh,
can
Yeah.
talk through some stuff on that.
okay.
Are there any other questions on the building design side?
The only other question I had is any kind of signage you're gonna have that would change or?
Yeah, Excel actually tries to minimize the signage on their service center properties because they're properties that are more meant for their staff usage and not for public to come up to the facilities. Signage is minimized.
Okay. Yeah, there won't be any like customers at this site.
Yeah.
There's no retail signage on the space now, is there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's like some little
Yeah,
thing that
sometimes.
tells you that it's that, but.
And it's gonna be those colors that were
That's what we're
depicted,
heading
or-
toward. Yeah, it's
close
more
to
of
that.
like a buff sandstone-ish
Okay.
color down low, and then
gray.
a gray up above, but the goal is to not be reflective with those metal panels up above, so then we're good neighbors with the people across the street, so. low western sun's not gonna reflect off of it and into somebody's property.
So go back to that. So as we talked about, there's an existing building on the site that's reached its end of life on the north half. So we're gonna build this new building on the south half where they have their storage yard right now. That's just surrounded by a chain link fence. And so we're gonna put that in there. They gotta keep the other building in use while we're doing this, so there's a little bit of a situation with that, trying to just keep everything up and running while they do construction. But as part of that, like we said, we're gonna keep that middle access point the same. It lines up with the existing drive. And then there's a drive to the north that's pretty close to Mountain View Highway.
Yeah, Mountain View.
Mountain View, yes, and drive, yes. And we're gonna close that off as a part of this, so there will no longer be access. And then the south access that's shown on this site actually lines up with a chain link gate that they already have on the site and a curb cut. So we're trying to reuse what's already there. Like we said, the entire site's gonna be, well, at least the site, the secured part, the employee parking lot will not be secured. It won't be behind any gates. And that's out front along Harrison. There'll be gates on either side of the building that go back to where their storage yard is and where their vehicles go into the site. Those are gonna be set far enough off that there won't be any vehicles sitting in the street while the gate opens. The site within the secured area, it's either gonna be asphalt paving and concrete paving. Well, actually, I think it's just concrete near the building. And then the yard is what we're gonna put down is it's recycled asphalt on the top layer, and then we treat lime.
So compactable, crushed.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, it's a compact, strong surface, because they put all their vehicles out there, they have to go out and get all their little
It's
things, so.
road base.
Yeah, it's a road base, yeah, but it's recycled asphalt on the top with lime treated road base underneath, so it's a real strong, sturdy, and should stay in place yard. We are gonna have a storm drainage detention pond on the site, that's just north of the employee parking lot there, that's that little jut out there. And that will detain water on the site so that it releases at a lower rate than existing, so we won't be contributing any problems downstream. And like we talked about, you can see the red on these, on the north edge and the south edge, show where we need to have easements and the right-of-way dedication. There's some utilities that run along the north, there's storm drainage that runs along the north, there's more utilities on the south, and there was also an encroachment from the roadway, and that's why we're doing the right-of-way dedication down there. So our new fence and curb and gutter that we're gonna put along 17th will align with what's existing out there already. It won't be any different. Actually, it'll be a little further inside the Excel site than it already is.
Inside of the encroachment then.
Once we do the right-of-way dedication, we won't have any more encroachments, it'll be, yes, so we won't have anything else out there. We're gonna add sidewalks, or, well, not add, but improve the sidewalks along Harrison. We're gonna connect to the Mountain View walkway that's already there that we talked about earlier. We are not adding a sidewalk along 17th, because we just don't have enough room with the encroachment and everything else already. So we are gonna add curb and gutter there to improve the drainage through the area, and it'll connect into and follow all existing drainage canals.
So there won't be room in the future either for a sidewalk on that, where that fence line would be at, just curb and gutter
Correct,
on 17th.
correct.
But is there sidewalk across the street?
Not currently, but I mean, there's
But
4
there would be room
houses there.
for that.
Yeah, that's an area we just decided that wasn't, needed at this time.
Okay. Cause
Yeah,
then the
most of the
intended
pedestrian-
access would be up Harrison, across Mountain View.
Right, yeah, most of pedestrian access will be going north and south, not east and west right here. Okay.
Can you also speak to exterior lighting and landscaping too, please?
Yes, we're gonna improve landscaping throughout the perimeter. New trees, shrubs, everything that's gonna be, fit in with the environment up here. All lighting for the site is the type that's, what's the term for this? Cutoff, yes, so it'll point down to eliminate any excess light pollution that we can help. So they do need, there's gonna be times when the lights are on in the middle of the night when the guys need to go in there to get some widget to go out and fix something. So it's not possible to have it off all the time, but we're doing our best to keep it contained within the site.
Is it specifically, will the lighting on the building specifically be designated as dark sky compliant?
Yes, all lighting will be cut off in dark sky project.
Thank you.
And then just now that we're talking about lighting, is it gonna be lower or is it gonna be up high on the building?
Lower on the building,
Okay.
it's
Cause I
going to,
think you currently have some on some utility poles in the yard area, if I remember.
and there will be lighting higher on poles in the yard,
Okay,
but on the building itself will be lower lighting that's not designed to spill out.
okay.
It's all designed to go down, and so it's reducing horizontal glare.
And just to repeat what you said, the lighting in the yard, the higher lighting will not always be on.
Correct. That's our understanding.
The 10-foot poured concrete fence will go all the way around the property with the exception of the 2 entry gates.
Yeah, on this plan, it'll go here, across the back, here, jog down where it needs to, and then here,
So
and tie back
and then across the center between the 2 gates.
between the two gates.
The
Here
building
between the gates
will
is
be-
the building,
Okay, so the
So-
building will actually be right out on that edge at
yes,
that point.
and then the employee parking will be out in front of that. Similar to the current condition as the employee parking outside of the fence line, so
So you're
some-
setting your fence farther back on the property than it is right now. The fence now
It's
is.
about the
in
same.
that area, in the
Yeah.
south area, because right now it's
Right now
right
it's
back
perimeter
here.
fence.
Oh, yeah, on
Yeah,
that side,
on
but
the-
on the other
it's
side
being
it's about
set back.
there.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's all being pulled back.
The fence is 10 feet tall, the building is 35 feet tall, so what you will see from the highway there is only gonna be the top 2/3 of the building or the metal, the matte metal building and the roof.
Correct.
Okay.
You'll see the top of the building there.
And the windows I noticed were
Yeah.
substantially higher for the 2nd-story offices.
Yeah, so that's to get views out, obviously,
No, that's,
and to try to get as much daylight in
I think
for
it looks
staff.
better anyhow,
it'll
yeah.
break it up from being an industrial building, which would be nice. Those windows, are they on both sides of the building? I don't remember
The windows will be, there's some on the
just on
south
the
side,
Harrison side.
primarily on Harrison, and there are some windows here on the north side as well.
Of course, we wouldn't have any in the workshop area, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's where the vehicles
Yeah.
will
Right.
drive through. and
We are
things
doing
like that.
one bank of windows back in there where the vehicles can drive through, and then in the future, that bank of windows could be changed out for another
For another-
access location, but as that access isn't needed now, is to get daylight in there.
Very good. And you said permeable road base, so you are addressing what we know to be existing drainage issues in that particular part of town already.
Yes, we'll improve all the drainage issues, make sure everything drains to either the pond or to curb and gutter. And like I say, it's gonna be detained before it leaves the site, so we'll match or be lower than existing releases from the site.
Excellent, thank you.
Snow storage? I can't see those tiny
Yeah,
little,
it's kinda hard
Yeah,
to see.
so-
but I
it's kinda
figured
tough
it's
to
on
see.
there somewhere.
Yeah, so snow storage for the area in front of the site is actually pushing here and then into where this zone is here for a landscape zone up there on the north. Within this zone, snow storage is scheduled to be down here on the south outside of the drive area and then here along this edge where it can all be pushed around inside the fence line, but then be able to be released to the pond over there.
We're also showing a little bit in the employee parking lot in the corners. They're not expected to have 35 people at this building every
For
day.
there, yeah.
But especially in the winter probably, but so we're anticipating using some of the
Some of
parking
the
lot
parking
as well.
spaces, yeah.
But yeah, they would like, it would make sense to push it into the landscaped area so it can infiltrate. Works better for drainage purposes.
I think it's gonna look, I think it's gonna be a huge improvement for that space.
Can we do that much chain link fence?
Well, I was just gonna say, just the fence
It'll
itself is
certainly
gonna be
look better
huge.
than what's there.
It's gonna look great. I have a little bit of a, process question about whether or not it's, problematic, or if we just can note it in the motion as a condition that the staff report and information that was all sent out had the 10,000 square foot when it's 35,000 square feet. Does that matter for
Could.
public hearing and all of that stuff, or? So I just wanna make sure we're,
Yeah, what
Setting
if
us
we
up for
added a
success.
condition of approval that acknowledges?
Yeah, cause when I read through the file, I was
The,
anticipating something about a third
yeah,
size.
it's a very different number. So we have 5 conditions of approval, we could add a 6th. Or it's a statement made by the
I
applicant.
think it's a statement
Yeah,
that we just reiterate before, and it's not a condition, but I guess my question just is, does this affect any referral agencies, like in your conversations with them or anything like that? I guess, is there just anything process-wise that we have to worry about?
that's a great question. The plans themselves are what people have reviewed.
Okay,
So I feel confident that we've looked at the actual,
Yeah.
design,
okay, perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that text just came from us with our initial application
yeah,
when we were early on in the process, so.
yeah.
And-
And what is the right number, 35,000?
Yeah, 35,615.
How many designated outside parking spaces again?
It's 35.
Outside of the fenced area, 35, that's what I thought I heard you say. Okay.
Yeah,
We're
Okay,
gonna add-
so
and
whoever
it
makes,
is 35 spaces, so
yeah, there's not a
better
conflict with
design,
that.
yeah.
They did say that they're upsizing the water service from 1 inch to 3 inch, I think.
Correct, yes, we'll have to, yeah, I didn't mention utilities, we'll improve utilities, we're gonna need a new gas line, a new electric feed, water, sanitary sewer. Water and sewer, we're gonna connect along 17th, kind of in the south corner of the site.
This of course will be a sprinkler building, so you'll have a riser for that as well.
Right, yes, the fire line as well,
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think.
so these improvements will also be reducing the kilowatt per hour rate for the locals.
If only, if only.
Well, at least for us. Just kidding. Is there anybody in the room or on Zoom that has any public comment that they want to be heard on this application?
Did have one more question, do you have an anticipated completion date?
Yeah, so we are going to be, we're anticipating starting construction next spring on this project. And so then with that, it'll be a year to a little bit more than a year, for that construction cycle. So it would be summer 2027.
Great, thanks.
And the demo of the existing facility, and that'll happen
That will,
after you move into the new.
yeah, right, that will be after they move into the new building, then they will demo the existing and then finish out the yard on that side.
Yeah.
And then tie it all back together.
That part of it will only take a week, that's easy.
Any other questions before we?
Yeah, I would concur with Melissa, this has been fully vetted by our engineers several times.
Yeah, and they had the full plans, yeah, I wasn't worried, yeah. Do you have a motion to close the public hearing?
I move to close the public hearing portion.
Edward seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, any discussion before we hear a motion? And whoever makes the motion, if we can just have one little statement right at the beginning that we acknowledge that the correct square footage is 35,615.
35,615.
I move that the planning commission approve file number 25-01, a site plan review at 1730 Harrison Street with a square footage of $5,615
15.
Pursuant to the standards of section 3.15 site plan review. Further finding that the approval. Am I reading the wrong one?
I mean, it's still the same
Do you wanna
front if
read
you're
this?
rating condition, yeah, why don't you read that?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
conditional approval section, you're there.
Yeah,
Further finding that the approval criteria pursuant to Lake County Land Development Code, section 3.15.3E can be met as evidenced in that staff report dated August 11th, 2025 for file 25-01 and conditioned as follows. 1, prior to finalizing the site plan document, an administrative subdivision exemption plat is required to dedicate the following rights of way and easements. A, right of way for 17th Street along the southern boundary. B, sanitary sewer easement along the northern boundary of the site. C, sanitary sewer easement along the southern boundary of the site. D, telecommunications easement along the northern boundary of the site. E, storm drainage easement along Mountain View Drive shall be executed by separate document. 2, prior to recordation of the construction plans, a development agreement is required to be fully executed. 3, compliance with all standards and regulations are required with a Parkville water and Leadville sanitation districts. 4, compliance is required with any CDPHE regulations that apply to the disposal of soil material with this site. 5, all statements made in the application and in the hearing shall be considered as conditions of approval unless they conflict with any other conditions of approval.
you'll have a second on the next page.
Next page.
And finding that 1, the proposed site plan is in substantial conformance with the expressed purposes, intents, goals, and policies of the Lake County Comprehensive Plan and any ancillary county acknowledged or adopted documents pertaining to natural resource protection, affordable housing, infrastructure management, or any area-specific community plans. 2, the proposed site plan conforms to the requirements and provisions of this code. 3, the proposed site plan adequately addresses the submittal requirement items. 4, the proposed site plan is consistent with and in harmony with neighboring land uses and future intended land uses in the area. 5, the proposed site plan is substantially in compliance with the requirements and provisions of section 6.15 design criteria.
Do I have a second?
Also, just say that there, so that's okay, right?
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye. Thank you for a thorough
Yeah, it was
review.
beautiful,
That
yeah,
helps.
really nice
Thank you for having us.
presentation, yeah, thank you.
That'd be a nice improvement to see.
Alright,
I move to close.
I knew you'd get that one.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Alright, we are set, thank you guys.
Alright, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
thanks
you.
for